Putin receives an ultimatum from Russian freedom fighters. The conventional Russian army started to disperse its forces. A portion of Belgorod is being evacuated, and Ukraine wants to exchange Melitopol. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's go straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. How? Fast and straight to the point today. So yeah, today we have another battle. Babushka, not the conventional one, not the one we used to seeing, but this one from probably Buryatia, one of distant republics in Russia. And so she's pretty much, I would assume, maybe celebrating the victory of president of Russia, Putin, the one who was president for the last 20 plus years, so well, she still celebrates it. And she has a very interesting merch. First of all, she has a yellow t-shirt and yellow hat, and no, there's no way this is my merch. I did not sell it to her, so don't worry. And the merch says that I am a volunteer. Volunteer for what? To go to the front lines, to defend the border between Russia and Ukraine, or to count the votes that Putin received in the most recent presidential elections. Guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think she is the perfect volunteer for? And guys, speaking about the merch, so many of you were asking if they can contribute a little bit more than just $8 per month. For this reason, I'm introducing a brand new, very first one in 4 years, tier, also on our Patreon, which is now $20 per month. It will include all the previous tiers benefits, such as early access to fully uncensored episodes of The Russian Dude, hundreds of weekly photos and videos, additional ones, also uncensored one, and also a monthly 20% discount code for every single piece of the official The Russian Dude merch. So if you were ever thinking about buying something from our store and also supporting our mutual cause, right now is absolutely the perfect time, because for a very limited time, maybe just until the end of the month, I'm giving a 1 week of free access to this $20 tier. We are also releasing brand new hoodies by the end of this week, so stay tuned. Spoiler alert, I love them so much, and the links to my Patreon and merch website will be down below, guys. Thank you so much. Right, now back to news reporting, and now allow me like literally a couple of minutes for me to update you on the situation in the south and in the east of Ukraine before we can talk about Belgorod evacuation and the Russian forces being dispersed. And first of all, reportedly in Zaporozhye region and in Sumy, Ukrainians also intensified their fortifications, building activities, and in confirmation of this, they released this video which showed that indeed these are not just simple trenches. These are pretty much almost the entire underground cities with places to sleep, places to eat, places to shower, which are fortified with the concrete and not just being dug as a hole in the ground. Next is the video from undisclosed location along the front lines in Ukraine, where we can see them using Black Hawk helicopters. And by the way, speaking about the aerial vehicles, right here is the video from Belgium, where Ukrainian pilots are training to use F-16 fighter jets. Belgium is already obviously on the territory of Europe, which basically means that they are getting closer and closer to the territory of Russia, which they will use at some point in hopefully near future. Next we have a report from Terne along Luhansk front line, where reportedly Ukrainians were able to repel at least 4 assault attempts by Russians. And then right here is the video from Donetsk region, where Russians started to once again copy the tactics of Ukrainians, and they started using the land drones to bring supplies and reinforcements back and forth. And so Ukrainians were like, well guys, that was our idea, we're not gonna let you do it, we're gonna destroy your land drones. They might seem insignificant, but these rounds of munition, rounds of bullets they're bringing can be counted as to hundreds or even thousands. So destroying only one of them provides a significant advantage to the Ukrainians defending the front lines. Then we have a report from Avdiivka frontline, where as a result of yet another extremely unsuccessful attempt by Russians, they lost 21 soldiers who fell asleep, 16 of them were heavily injured. And also there is a video also from Avdiivka, where Ukrainians are using modified heavy multi-purpose drone, which is used to destroy several military targets of Russians. And ultimately is the report from Solodki, located to the south of Novomikhailivka right here, is that Ukrainian long-range artillery was able to destroy an advancing assault group of Russians along with their tank. And now let's talk about the activities of anti-Putin forces in Belgorod and other bordering cities. And by the way, guys, you know what I just realized, that it is pretty much the second week whenever the main topics of my daily updates are the combat activities on the territory of Russia itself, and it's not that much about Ukrainian territories, so which kinda makes us think how tables turned, eh? This honestly feels like a brand new chapter in this Russian-Ukrainian war, which is very refreshing and very exciting. And pretty much every single day we do receive some kind of extraordinary news. So guys, if you are as excited as I am to see what's coming, simply please, if you don't mind, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will keep making these daily updates. You can also follow me on Instagram, and I will follow some of you guys back. The link to my Instagram is down below. And so yes, speaking about the attacks against the territory of Russia. First of all is the video from Voronezh, located right here, where local residents were able to hear some very loud noises. And then obviously we do have even more videos from Belgorod, which is pretty much a active combat zone for the last several weeks, if not months at this point. And looks like, finally, since long time ago, they should have done it way earlier, the local administration of Belgrade, they did announce an evacuation. Only 9,000 residents are allowed to leave the city, which is a pretty good headline for the Russian propaganda, saying like, Belgrade authorities want to save civilians from Ukrainian attacks, something like this. Until you take a look at what's the actual population number of Belgrade itself, which is, according to most recent statistics of approximately 2023, the number of people living in this city is approximately 334,000, which basically means that these 9,000 people who are allowed to be evacuated is only like 2.7%. Once again confirming that this was done only to make headlines for the Russian propaganda and not to actually protect people. But obviously, like you already know, there are Russian freedom fighters who are trying to liberate those already Russian cities from under the regime of Putin. And so, for example, one of the most intense one is this called small settlement called Kozinka, where Russian anti-Putin forces continue to destroy military targets of Russians in very precise attacks, such as, for example, according to this video, yet another command post of Russians was destroyed. And they also try to advance pretty much every single day. According to this video, as you can see, there is not that much resistance from the Russian conventional forces. And guess what? The regular Putin, the army, decided to use exactly the same tactics, protecting their own cities on their own territories. The same tactics what they were using in Ukraine, which is basically destroying cities to the ground, leaving absolutely not a single building left standing, which is confirmed by this video. According to local residents, a lot of guided aerial bombs were thrown from the Russian planes, from the Russian bombers, fighter jets and so on, which obviously the Russian freedom fighters do not have this kind of technology, at least yet, which is like it was only done by the Putin's army, nobody else. There is simply no excuse for the Russian propaganda to say otherwise. And just when you thought that this is the only thing they are doing, like some people might think, well, this is just a modern warfare, there are unfortunately a destruction of civilian neighborhoods. Well, right here is the video of a Russian tank, who is just directly destroying just civilian buildings. It's like just there is not a single Russian freedom fighter inside these buildings or around it. The Russian tank is just driving across the road, just decides to stop and like, I don't like this building, I'm going to destroy it, and this is exactly what it does. The justification of the Russian propaganda was obviously the very same. There were Ukrainian mercenaries, there were anti-Putin forces hiding in the basement, but local residents said that these were just regular houses, which used to be houses, and now they're just a pile of rubble. Unlike, once again, anti-Putin forces, right here is the video from Zhuravlyovka, also one of the neighboring city, when they are once again precisely destroying military targets of the Putin's army, such as their military armored vehicles and command posts. And as always, all these fully uncensored photos and videos you will be able to see on my Patreon, guys. The link is down below. Thank you so much. And then, so yes, some representatives of the Freedom of Russia Legion, one of the biggest anti-Putin forces, he did mention that in the near future, maybe just in a couple of weeks or less, Putin will have to make the decision, which is basically which of the front lines in Ukraine he will need to weaken, because he will need to relocate and disperse some of these forces to try and to protect pretty much borders, because right now there is not that much resistance. Once again, as you already seen according to these videos, the only thing Russian regular army is doing is destroying civilian houses, but Russian freedom fighters, once again, they're advancing uninterrupted and unaltered. For this reason, yes, once again, Putin will need to relocate some forces to try and protect his borders, which will give Ukraine an incredibly, almost once in a whole year opportunity to take advantage of these weakened defenses somewhere along the front lines. And this is when Ukrainians start to breach and liberate their own territories. So, as you can see, it's not the only thing what Russian freedom fighters are doing, which is trying to remove the regime of Putin. They are also indirectly, or maybe it was a plan all along, they're also helping Ukrainians to liberate their own land by just causing a massive destruction. And then right here is even more powerful video, where 3 representatives of the Russian volunteer corps, the Freedom of Russia Legion and the Siberian Battalion, they are giving Putin literally an ultimatum. They're pretty much saying that it is time to end this circus, it is time to be done with your regime. If you are a man, come and talk with us, because if you don't, we will continue marching towards Moscow every single day until you notice us, until you give us the attention we deserve. And then once again, the idea that we have to talk. We're not like threatening you that much, just be a man and accept our dialogue. But wait, there is more. You already know that the defense intelligence of Ukraine and, well, at this point, the Ukrainian military and the authorities, they do know about the existence of these anti-Putin forces. Such as, for example, right here is yet another video by the head of defense intelligence, Kirill Budanov, who is saying that Ukraine, they do want to exchange Melitopol for Tetkino. Tetkino is a neighboring city. It is a Russian city which is now fully liberated by the Russian freedom fighters. And he's pretty much saying, okay, Putin, like, if you want Tetkino back, we just take Melitopol back, which is right now occupied by Russians. Take this or leave it, because right now those Russian freedom fighters, they only liberated fully at least 2 settlements, at least at the moment of recording this video. So right now we are giving you a very good deal, because in the future, when even more cities will be liberated by those forces, we might not be as generous anymore. This is the second powerful statement that Budanov made in the last several days. If you missed the first one we were talking about in my previous video, it will appear to my left. Guys, please subscribe to my channel, because Russian freedom fighters are not planning to stop, so we will keep talking about them. There's a very brand new chapter of the war going on right now. Don't forget about the brand new $20 per month Patreon tier, which gives you a 20% discount for any merch you want. And also just don't forget about the merch itself. We have new hoodies coming. Thank you guys once again so much. Thank you so much, Patreons, and see you tomorrow.